Well, hello there. So today I want to do a little bit on moving files up and down. So let's go to EC2 and I'm going to launch a new instance. Copying file. Yeah, I shouldn't do copy files. We'll do it that way. Okay, and I'm just going to leave everything the default except for I need my key, and I'm going to use an existing security group, the one that was created with my prior video, and launch instance. So we often need to move files up and down, and that can be very challenging for some people because it gets confusing. Actually, let's go to my home directory, and that's make dir temp. Make dir today. cd today. Okay, so I have an empty folder. That's what I want to start with. And I have an instance, so I can come here and get this DNS name. So I can SSH ec2-user at in this instance. Okay, so we all know how to SSH, and I have to agree that it's a new one. Cool, so I'm there. How do I get a file from here down to my system? So right now, there's nothing here. Okay, so I'm going to echo. That's just putting something to the screen. In fact, yeah, echo server into server.txt. So this is going to overwrite the file. Okay, this just echoes something. In fact, I can echo server. It says it to the screen. So I sent it to the server.txt, so I can see what's in there by doing cat server.txt, and I can see that's what's in the server. That's like if the server.txt was a book, I opened it up and it said server. Okay. In fact, maybe I should name this differently so it's not as confusing. So I'm going to I'm in the RM to remove server.txt, and instead let me echo my, I'm going to do this with quotes, so I have, because I'm going to have spaces, my new box into server.txt. I could have overwritten it. That would have been fine. Okay, so now I can do an ls. I can see it's there, and if I cat server.txt, you can see it's my new box. Okay, that way you just don't worry about the name, and so you see that's opening up the book and seeing what's inside. Cool. So I have server.txt. Now let me exit. And if you've exited to your local system and you're running Linux, like we all should because Linux is best, right? You can just run the commands I'm using. If you're using a Mac, that has Unix as its kernel, which is kind of like the drunk uncle of Linux. And these commands will work on a Mac. If you're using Windows, these commands may or may not work. So you're going to have to do some of this on your own. But I expect you'll know how to do it because you're familiar with Windows. I might try and give some hints on commands, but honestly, I have an allergy to Windows. It makes me cranky. So I do my best to leave it alone because I don't like that allergy to come into play. So anyway, let's create a file on my local system. So I'm going to, echo, which just put something to the screen, and my local system into, and we'll call this laptop.txt. Doesn't have to be text, but it's just good for us humans to be able to see it. So ls-l, I can see laptop.txt is there. If I cat laptop.txt, I can see my local system. Sweet. So if I come back up to this command here, the SSH one, This SSH is a secure shell. It's remotely going out to another system. I can also do a secure copy. Now, if you think about copy, you're copying something to somewhere, okay? So I'm gonna just Control-C that for a second. I'm just gonna say copy something to somewhere, okay? Control-C. Oop, okay. Let me do that again. I didn't want to hit enter. I wanted to Control-C it, which breaks out, okay? Control-C, there we go. So now if I go up to my SSH command, what I want to do is I want to copy, so secure copy, and the something I want to copy, let's copy this laptop.txt up to this server, okay? So that's easy. So copy laptop.txt to this user on this server. I can just leave that as it is. And I come all the way to the end, and I do a colon to say, now I'm going to say where it goes. And I can say, put it anywhere in the system. Or I can also say, put it in my home directory, basically where I log into, and just say dot to be, leave the name the same. I can change the name. So I'm going to leave the name the same the first time. And we can see it went up there. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say muhahaha.txt. Okay. So we have that. Okay. So now let me go up to ls-l and show you nothing changed on my local system. Okay. And now let me come to my SCP command. I'm just hitting the up arrow to my sh command, sorry. And I'm going to do ls-l here. And you can see, oh, I have my laptop.txt and muhahaha.txt. So let me just cat star.txt, okay, and look at all of them. And we can see that, in fact, let's cat laptop.txt and cat muhahaha.txt and cat server.txt. If you notice, I was able to do star, and I can do them each individually as well. And you can see that, hey, these two are the same. That's because I uploaded it with just the dot and left the name alone, and then I uploaded it and I gave it a name. I can actually change even the directory and stuff that it's there. Now, some problems come into play with permissions. We're going to learn about those later, okay? We're going to learn about those later. You have a lot to learn. Right now, we're just learning about moving files up and down in the simplest form, okay? So, cool. That was moving it up. How do I get it down? Well, from here, I can't. On the server, I can't put things onto my laptop because my laptop's not hosting a way for it to come down. My laptop is usually behind multiple firewalls of an organization or my home router and things like that. I can't come from the outside internet to my laptop. I just can't. So how do I get it then? So I have to exit out first. And now I'm on my system. And remember, I'm copying something to somewhere. Okay, Control-C. So I can copy using this SSH command. And instead, change it to, of course, SCP. And the something is, I want to copy something that's on my server. That's what I start with. The user at the server, colon, I think we call this server.txt, right? And I can say here, enter. There it is. I can also say, instead of here, I can say FO changed it.txt. Now let's just do changed it without the .text so you can see that it's possible. So I can do it that way. Now if I do ls-l, I've had both the server.txt and changed it, okay? So if I cat changed it, or I mean if Windows, you open it up, my new box, cat laptop, my local system, cat server. My new box. Sweet. We've now done SCP. Happy day. Let's now do one more thing. Let's do SFTP. So if I come up here, oh, in fact, I'm going to go back to the SSH. I'm going to change this to SFTP. User at box. So this is almost the same as SSH, and I hit enter. It's a command line of SFTP. I can type ls. This is my server stuff. So I have muhahaha there. I can get muhaha.txt. And remember, local, I had changed it. So I can put changed it.txt. Now, I can change the directories and stuff in here too. You're gonna eventually have to figure that out. For now, we're just figuring out how to use SCP and SFTP, okay? Now, that's a lot. You're gonna need to practice this over and over and over because it gets confusing. The main thing is, remember with SFTP and SCP, you're copying something to somewhere, okay? And that depends on how you write the command in SCP's case, or if you use a get or a put in SFTP's case, okay? It gets confusing, although it gets less confusing the more you practice it. So practice it over and over and over. Now, I'm going to set up a server for my students, and I'm going to get their keys, and they're going to have to log in with a different name, with a different username. So right here, in fact, I'll just come up here to the SFTP. They're going to have to change this part because they're each going to have different users, multiple users onto a system, because you have many. They're all going to hit the same system, but they're going to not be able to see each other's stuff. So you're going to practice and learn, and let's see what we can get done. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. This is moving files up and down from a Linux server using SCP and SFTP. I hope you've enjoyed this.